Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Om Guru Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambam, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Ashmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Saganavapadu, Sakano Punaktu, Sakaviryam Karabhavake, Tejasvina Vadidamastuma Vitvishavake. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnana Pradam Gurum Mokshunam Hidarthaya Tattva Bodha Abhidiyate. I'm starting. Good morning. So we have completed the first three part of the Tattva Bodha. We finished the Adhikaratvam Tattva Vicara on the Jiva Vicara, on the Jagat Vicara. Then the last class we did the Aikya Vicara with the Tattvamasi Mahavakya Vichara. So now we need to focus on the following question about the Jivan Mukti, and then what is the prayojanam of it, and how does a Jivan Mukta endure this life in this world. Just to recap, we concluded with the statement, Evamcha Vedanta Vakyai Sadguru Upateshana cha Sarveshu Api Bhuteshu Esham Brahma Buddhir Utpanna Te Jivan Muktaha Iti Yattaha. Vedanta Vakyai, that means this Tattva Jnanam that we are gaining should be based on Vedanta Vakya. Vedantam, as you know, is part of Veda, Veda Siras, Vedantam, where all the knowledge ends, Upanishad. So we studied about that before briefly. So the Vakya here refers to every word of it, but in particular, the Mahavakyas. We know what Mahavakya is. So from the Vedanta Vakyas, but not just taking a book and reading it, through a Sadguru. Sadguru is, there's a lot of definitions on Sadguru, but in principle, Sadguru is the one who is a Brahmanishta, who has gone through the Parampara and Guru Parampara, who has gone through the Veda Adhyayanam, Upasanam, and then he come to the realization that this is truth. So the Sadguru, we must listen to Sadguru, even though you acquire a knowledge through many, many sources. Like, it's collecting all the sulfur and all this gunpowder. You have the possession of everything that can crack open and explode. But the trigger of that spark has to come from the Guru. So it is very, very important that we should never, sometimes it may appear that when you read it, because of your intellectual ability, and also maybe by the Shuddha Chittam, you may appear to think that you know it and you achieved it. No, then we need to really take that into Vinayam, convert that into search for a Sadguru's Kadaksha. So the Sadguru gives in, then what happened? What happened is, you are able to see Sarveshu Api Bhuteshu. In everything, in all objects, in everything, you see, Esham, whoever sees what? Brahma Buddhir Utpannaha. You see in everything that it is divine. That Brahma Darshanam, Vishwarupa Darshanam, Utpannaha, that is happening in your mind. So if one has that ability to see divinity in everything, then he becomes a Jivan Mukta. He is the Jivan Mukta. Iti Artha. So he has concluded and converged into one single position of Jivan Mukti. It is a very disruptive learning when the Jivan Mukti concept came in, because the Purva Mimamsa have never accepted or never had this Jivan Mukti as a place in their evolution. So Vedanta, especially Advaita Vedanta, was quite disruptive in their thinking and moved that, yes, you can live in this world as a Jivan Mukta. So therefore the question comes, what is this Jivan Mukti? So there are only simple two verses to follow to explain this, but I think we need to know the background of it. So Jivan Mukti. So there are two words. Jivan Mukti. You know what is Jivan? Jivaha. So sometimes we tend to use Jivaha to mean Jivatma. Sometimes we use the word Jiva to have the Jiva Bhava. So we need to be very careful. When we say Jiva Ishvara Aikyam, we're not talking about Jiva Bhava Aikyam. We're talking about the Atma Bodha Aikyam. Bodha means knowledge. Bhava means Bhava, the approach, the perspective. So we are at a Jiva Bhava. I am this person. I am such and such person. I am this man, woman. This is Jiva Bhava. So when we talk about the Jiva Ishvara Aikyam, we use the word Jiva. There we are using not Jiva Bhava. We are using the Atma Bodham. Jiva Atma Bhava. So here therefore Jivan Mukti means we can take it Jiva Bhava Mukti. That means, so first we must know what is Mukti. What is Mukti? Now, I can tell you that many people will be afraid to even talk about Mukti, Moksha. They don't even come to Vedanta class because when you go there, they talk about Mukti. I don't want Mukti because I know Mukti means death. Because we normally say, when somebody is dead, we say, they have reached, they attained Mukti. They attained Moksha. We say that. How do we know they attained Mukti? We do not know. We know they are no more there in the physical body. How do you know they attained Mukti? If Mukti is simply death, then why do we need to have chapter and verses in Vedanta about Mukti? Why do we need a Mukti Upanishad? So death is not Mukti. So therefore don't be afraid if there is a fear in mind. But why do we then say when somebody is dead, we say they got Mukti? Because our bhakti on them, we want to really make them, that soul, that person, to attain the supreme bliss, attain liberation. Since we do not know where they are going, so it's if you believe in all this Puranas or the doctrine about Swarga, Naraka, hell and heaven, we don't know where they're going to go. But we want them to go to some place which is blissful. We say Shivaloka Prapti, Vaikuntha Prapti. So we give them a placement somewhere. Or if you do not know, we say Kaivalya, Mukti, Apavargam. There are a lot of words for Mukti. So etymologically, the Mukti, much means in the Sanskrit, to loosen it up, to give up. You know, this is the most important word. The whole Vedanta, whole Veda, whole Shastra, whole Dharma, everything is in this. Mukti, Moksha. But this is the word that we never read, never understand, never take it as a first principle. This is the Purushartham. We say Mumukshu Nam Idartaya. One who likes Mumukshu, only like Moksham, Mukti. But we do not know what it is. So Mukti, if you take so when the root word, to loosen up from what? Philosophically, it means, if you loosen up means, that means you are tied up with something else. Otherwise, why do you have to loosen up something, right? You tied up with a bandham. Bandham means relationship. A good relationship is called sambandham, right? When you got a sambandham, you got a good relationship. But what is a bandham or sambandham do to you? It creates action related to the bandham. It's called abhideyam. You do something because I am related to that person. Therefore, when I see the person, I do certain action. When you do the action to make the other person happy or you happy, because there's a bandham. So when you do something, though you have a desire to do something to make them happy, make the relationship happy. So when you do something with a desire, you accumulate a result. When you accumulate the result, you endure the result. If you endure the result now, it is gone. If it is so big a result, you can't endure it in the short time, it is stored for you. Therefore, you need to have to endure it. Therefore, you have to take a particular birth and you need to go through it. So you see, the bandham creates action, a result. So, sambandham, abhideya, prayojanam. It's a triad. Why do you have to loosen it up? Well, if you don't want to loosen it up, that's fine. Go enjoy it. But when you want to loosen it up, that's where you have the desire to get freedom. Okay, I don't have bandham. I am just myself. I am just sitting in a corner and I am happy. Are you really? When you do that in your mind, you have thought about what you missed. Your bandham comes in. So when you have this kind of a binding, and the binding becomes a knot, it's called grandhi. You may see when you say slogans and you do the nyasam, you say Brahma grandhi, Rudra grandhi. The grandhi is nothing but a knot in which you are locked up. The knot is something which needs to be loosened up. The knot may be even for good things. You loosen up. How do you loosen up? You give up. When you go to Kashi, you go to Varanasi, you go and you do this, and then you have to give up something. Muktam, that muktam. What do you give up? I give up eating bitter gourds. Bitter gourds, I don't like it anymore. You never liked it. So you are not actually giving up. You're not loosening up a grandhi. You're not giving up something. You have to give up what in which you have desire. So you have effort to take. The reason why you do that, because it frees you. A mother like the child. Which mother doesn't like the child? Yeah. But have you ever seen a mother keeping the child on the lap all the time? No. She will say, go and play. Mother will push her off. Because, of course, there's a reason for it. My child has to go and walk and talk and exercise and everything. But it's a grandhi. So inherently, you do not want to be tied up with anything. You want free. What about something I love? I like my wife. I like my children. They are dear to me. You see, again, if you look at it, they are not sweet to you by themselves. They are there, you are there. But your relationship expecting the sweetness. Therefore, you see your inherent sweetness through them. It is a good thing. Please don't hate your relationship. Relationship is important. But you understand the sweetness of the relationship is not coming from that person. Of course, the person can spoil it by behaving differently. The sweetness is coming because you have sweetness in you, and it is that person has become a trigger to get it out of you. Therefore, good relationship is necessary only to show that sweetness is in you. Only then, why do we have to do this? Why do I have to think like this? My wife is giving me happiness. My children is giving happiness. I can just see them. I maintain the relationship. Because that is not endurable. They may be gone. Their character may change. So what happened then? Has the person become bitter? How can the laddu that you eat, very sweet, become bitter, tasteless to you? As the sugar changes character? No. You don't have the capacity to withstand it anymore. It's nothing to do with them. Therefore, in every relationship also, you see, there is a time where you need to take mukti. Therefore, mukti and moksha is not a cowardice act to give away everything. It is an intelligent act to free oneself. Now, if that all happens after I'm dead, what is the point? Anyway, they will be forgotten because you're physically not there. Nobody's going to look at you. You're not going to look at them. So if the death can give you that kind of freedom, loosen up the relationship, then so be it, bring it on. But it's not guaranteed because people die with so much of desire and actions. And we know that death means transformation of the Sukshma Sarira, in which our identity is still with the Sukshma Sarira. Remember that. Don't forget what we learned. When death happens, I don't know whether you watched that movie called The Ghost. A very interesting movie. I like this scene, this particular scene where this loving couple, they're about to get married. He's a banker and they got a close friend as well. So they go for a walk one evening in New York, and a guy comes in and shoots him and he dies. The way that the movie is shown, okay, he's fighting, the wife is crying, calling for the help. The guy, the villain, is shooting him, and then he's struggling. The gunshot comes in. Then the camera moves in, and then you see that the guy who shot is running, and the hero is running behind him. So you think, okay, gunshot was fired, he's chasing the villain. Then the hero comes back to look for his wife. His wife is crying, but the hero's body is down there. You see what I'm saying? So suddenly you realize the guy who was chasing the villain is not actually the hero's physical body. He's dead. His sukshma body is going. And then the story goes. I'm not telling the story now. It's a very touching way that they show it, because it dawns in your mind, when his death happened, the body is left alone. You are exactly intact. You are exactly what you are now. Imagine you have to drink coffee at 8 o'clock and it is so addictive, and without coffee, your life is miserable. And when the body is not there, the 8 o'clock, there may be different time zone maybe in that time. You will still crave for it. That craving comes into your force, an intensity of purpose. Therefore, with the nature of God, you acquire another body. So anything that you have intense is still with you. So when you hear this, when you understand, when you have Shraddha on it, you see then, since you can never come back to this body, you want to have a minimum baggage to carry. Therefore, that's the reason why I do fasting. Why do you do the Ekadashi fasting? What is Vishnu going to gain when you are not eating? Nothing, is it not? Why are you fasting? Why are you doing all these things? Because you are giving away the addictions, conditions, so that you can be free. Therefore, the act of mukti is a sadhana and a sadhyam. I'm digressing a little bit from Purushartham. See, if it is attainment, it'll be gone. Remember, we are in Vedanta. We take a very different meaning to everything else. If mukti, he attained mukti. Well, if he attained it, is an object of attainment, it'll be taken away from him. Shivaloka Prapti, he attained. Yes, okay, he can be with Shivaloka. He'll be taken away, be born again. So attainment is an objective possession. Mukti cannot be that. But there are different ways. I mean, Charuvakas and materialists calls death is mukti because you enjoy life happily. All this consciousness, all this bullshit, don't worry about it. It's like, it's a chemical. When a chemical come together, fire comes in. So therefore, everything just happen accident. You live a life and then patafat you go. So we don't want that. We know that is how silly it is. But even in the theosophy, in the religion, in the high thoughts, mukti, they say, yes, it is a conditional happiness. It's not like dharma is a conditional. See, all the karma kantas, what is the karma kanta is telling you? Do this, do that, do that. Why? If you do it, we can live happily. Where? In this world. Therefore, you can see, Vedas are, it's an instruction manual. We are born in this world. Therefore, God is given a manual. If you want to live in this world happily, follow this dharma. Dharma, artha, kama you do. So, if you understand this, if you are in another world, there may be another scripture. That's why Veda is, Vyasa compiled the Vedas for us in the earth to survive. If Vyasa is able to compile it, Vyasa is bigger than the God, bigger than the Vedas. He pulled everything together, is it not? No. He made it what he could grasp as a rishi, what is essential for this world. That's why in Karma, Purvamimamsa's approach is a very important approach because first thing is, you wherever you're sitting, you should be Sukhasana. You must be comfortable first. Therefore, you can't think of God and moksha and all this unless you are comfortable. Therefore, it gives you, do things to make yourself comfortable. And if you are not enough comfortable here, you can go to Swarga. Therefore, you do this kind of karmas to Swarga. So every yajna, every homa, upasana is to place you in a condition of happiness, however glorified it is. We are not. We want it. Yes, of course we want it. But we want everything beyond all this. Unconditionally we want it. Be greedy. Therefore, our mukti therefore has to really be different. They say, no, you cannot have a mukti in this world because mukti, if you want all that, only God can be that. The Bible says about heaven, perfection. New Testament says perfection is the goal. Pursuit of perfection is human goal. Beautiful, what Veda says. But like many of the schools of thought in Hinduism as well, biblical religion, other religion also say, you can never be perfect. You can always have imperfect because the perfect is God. You can never be God. Well, okay, thank you very much. Therefore, I can never have mukti. You see, our goal is to be the perfect. You cannot ask for it. It is sin, they say. You laugh at them. Because what the great acharyas told you, you ask for it. When you are asked, it is given. Bhagavan Krishna says, that's what is laboring the point of Vishwarupa Darshanam is that. But this is not to be attained because if attainment means it will be gone. If it's not attainment, then what is it then? Now, this is where the very indigestible concept comes in Vedanta, especially Advaita Vedanta. It is because the granthi that you have is ajnana granthi. It is, the knot is made on the thread of 3 threads, tamas, rajas, and sattvam. These 3 threads are pleated and then poured some ignorance, avidya glue, tighten it up. So this granthi is there everywhere. So what do you have to do to undo this? So the glue is taking this knot. So to unglue it, you have a dryer to blow it or a steam to pass it. So these are the Viveka Vairagya sadhanas. You apply this so that it gets loosened up. then you can see the knots. Oh, this knot go this way, this knot go this way. So I take it out one by one. What is this knot? This looks darker. Oh, this thread is tamasic thread. Laziness, inertia, aversion, bad thoughts. I remove it. Then there's a red color knot thread. It is tied up as well. What is this? This is rajas activity. I want to be this. Jigitsa, jikyasha. I want to be something, do something. Passionate. Well, what all this happen? One COVID comes in, put you back in the home, go back. You can't even go to the shop without somebody telling you can go. I may have 10 cars in a portico, nothing I can drive. So rajas have to be softened down. And what is this white thread? Sattvic. Why it is so thin? Make it bigger, make it prominent. But again, don't let it tie it out. What's the point of, I am a Sattvic person, my job is to do puja, I keep on doing puja every day and day out, without understanding anything of it? Sattvic puja. Well, you may get some grace someday, but you are stuck in a long queue. So therefore, what I'm taking too much time on this, but what mukti, moksha means, to be free. Here we are saying Jivan Mukti means free from Jiva Bhava Mukti. Okay. So this is all what we saw. Now we see what is his next question. So the Sishya asking now, Nanu Jivan Muktaha Kaha. I told you before, Nanu means the dragging question, Okay, if that is the case, so what? But if all this kind of Nanu means a question is coming. Jivan Muktaha Kaha, because the teacher finished with the Jivan Muktaha, Idi Arthaha. So who is the Jivan Mukta? So we just now, I give you some example, some idea about what is Jivan Mukti. Here you're asking about Jivan Muktaha, one who got the Jivan Mukta. So he says, Yatha Dehoham Purushoham Brahmanoham Shudroham Asmi Iti Danischayas Tata Naham Brahmana Na Shuddha Na Purushaka Kintu Asankaha Sachidananda Swarupaha Prakasha Rupaha Sarvantayami Chitakasha Ruposmi Iti Dridanischaya Aproksha Jnanavan Jivan Muktaha. Okay. So the disciple asked the question, who is the Jivan Mukta? Now we know that he's not somebody who's dead. Okay. Somebody who is living amongst us. Arjuna will be asking when you read this one, maybe I told you before, what we are now doing in the Bhagavad Gita, the second chapter, second portion of it. The 18th chapter can be also seen as 666. The first one is talked about Tvampacha Vakyartham. Tattva-masi, we talked about it. Tat-tvam-asi. Tvam means you. Tat means that Atma, Paramatma. The second chapter 7 to 12 is all about the God. Tvam-pada vicharam. That's what you're talking about. I am this, I am that, God is saying. The first 6 was, Tattva. First 6 was Tvam-pada vicharam. About Arjuna, you do this karma, you do this, you do this. The last 6 will be Asipada vichara. So when we listen to Bhagavad Gita lectures and when we assimilate, there are several stages of benefits. The utmost benefit is to listen to that with a view of Tattvamasi Vichar, Mahavakya Vichar. Okay, I digressed. Come back. So what he is saying, let's see what the meaning of it. So that person, initially we are all ignorant, right? So in our ignorance, what is the ignorance here? Avidya. I'm a PhD, why I'm ignorant? No, we are not talking about your scholastic knowledge. Here the ignorance, avidya, is that nescience that you do not know who you are, right? So my jiva bhavam, that's the ignorance. My jiva bhavam, yata, in that, dehoham, dehaha aham, I am this body. We say that I am this body. Purushoham, purushaha aham, I am this man, I am this woman, striyaham, whatever you want to call it. Or we can say, brahmanaha aham, I am a brahmana, I am a kshatriya. Shudraha aham, I am a shudra. Asmi. So I am this body, I am this man, I am this caste, I am this employee, so on and so forth. Iti. All this is due to ajnanatvat, due to ignorance. Tanishchayas. We are very confident. Now, if you ask someone who is not into Vedanta, you ask them who you are, you say, oh, I am this person. Don't touch me. I am so on and so forth. He is very confident. So like you are thinking very confidently that I am this and this. Similarly, Tattva means similarly. Now, when you get the knowledge that I am not this person, you've gone to Tattva Bodha class and you are beginning to understand. Now you are looking yourself very differently. And what do you say now? Na ham brahmana. I'm not the brahmana. If you're not the brahmana, who you are? Are you Shudra or Kshatriya? No, I'm not Shudra. I'm not Kshatriya. I'm not a Vaishya. I'm not a man. I'm not a woman. I'm not a child. I'm not this. So you started loosening your identity. See, you're already in the process of Mukti now. So Mukti is now a sadhanam. I may be permitted to say this one. I'm just saying it to clarify to you. You are trying to loosen yourself. Well, I've been to this class. I have a Shraddha. I think I'm not this embodiment. The moment you start saying it, then because of this knowledge you say, and when the knowledge becomes well endowed, kintu means but. So I'm saying I'm not this person, I'm not this body, but I'm saying, but asankaha, sachidananda surupaka, prakash rupaka, sarvantriyami, all this I'm saying. Let's say the first one, aproksha jnanavan. But aham aproksha jnanavan. So I'm not this body, but I am aproksha jnanavan. Very important. Jnanam means the true knowledge. Van suffix comes to like Bhailvan, Dhanavan. The Van comes to refer the endower, the bestower, the possessor. Not possessing temporarily, but permanently. Jnanavan is one who possesses this knowledge forever. What kind of knowledge? This knowledge of what? That I am not this, I'm not this, I'm not this, but I am something else. This knowledge I possess. How do I possess this? Which book I read? Who taught, who gave me this knowledge? Aparoksham. Aksham means the eye, the senses. Paroksham means in front of the eyes. Using the eyes and the senses as a media. Direct knowledge using your senses. So when you add as a prefix, aparoksham means not through the media, not mediate, but immediate. At once. Not directed through this media, at once. How can you, what is that kind of knowledge, aproksha knowledge that you can get without any senses, without any pratyaksha pramanam, without any anumana pramanam? Just like that you get it. What is that? The only thing that you can get without any medium of knowledge is yourself. I told you before, when you are in a dark room, somebody says, oh, can you find the duster? Can you find the chair? You say, the room is dark. Can't you see it? Put the light on. We say, can't you see it? We say, can't you see the darkness? But we use it very casually, the very profound statement. Can you see it? It's dark. Put the light on. So you are telling the other person, you can see darkness. Put the light on. Now the person is gone. It is dark. Things are amiss. But are you at amiss? Are you lost? Do you need the light to put on to see yourself? No. Aparoksham. You don't need any evidence of it. That's why when somebody says, I don't believe in God, you don't believe in God. Perfect. You don't believe because you haven't seen it. Why should you believe it? So there's no point in arguing with the person. But you ask the question, do you believe in you? Nobody can say no. Even we call it a lunatic. He knows it, that he exists. So it is unshakable, unremovable knowledge, which we hardly look at it. We don't see it. But when you want to see it, it is there, aparoksham. So therefore here, you don't need to really look around for major books to read. It is absolutely there. Hastakamalam, it is there on your hand. But you need somebody to tell you to look at it. So the Veda says, aparoksham, just look that you are there. Okay, understand? How I am. Asangaha. Sangam means, it's a satsangam. Sangam means association, connected, good connection. But here, asankaha. Bhagavan says in second chapter itself, when he talk about to Arjuna, about Atma, asankaha, untouched. Why do we say that? Because touching is, remember the mother, I'm telling you, mother says, child to go. All this is only bhavam. You are untouched. Touching means krandi, that means not comes in. Relationship comes in. That which is untouched is asankaha. Okay, I am that asankaha, which means naham deham. I am not the body. But I am connected to the body, right? Yes, connected. But how the connection if I am asankaha? That's what we discussed in the Tattva Bodha before. If I am untouched, what am I? How am I? You are Satchidananda Swarupaha. Again, we have studied this before. Sat Chit Anantam. If these three words can somehow define my Atma, then it is definable, isn't it? No, it is just like a Vyasa's Veda collection. Vyasa brought Vedas, what you could see for us to give. It doesn't mean Vedas ended there. Same way, Sat Chit Anandam gives you the most profound way of identifying Atma yourself. That's not the end of it, but it's good enough for us. Sat means that which is forever. So, thank God, Mukti is not meaning that I'm going to disappear somehow. No, I'm going to be always because I'm Sat. So it gives you immediately, if you understand it, a joy, a relief from the fear that I will die. But how do I know that? A rock is there. I know a tree lives for 200 years, 2000 years. A rock is there without knowing anything. What's the point of being there forever, for many, many years or forever, without any sense of it? No. It therefore says Chit. Sat and Chit. You are there forever, but you are forever there as all-knowing knowledge. Then you say, okay, I'm there all the time, all-knowing, only to be in trouble. Mourning all the time. What's the point? I might as well disappear, vanish. So no, Ananta Surupaka. You are there all the time, all-knowing, always blissful. So Rupaka. So untouched, because I'm untouched, I have no grief, no samsara. Therefore, I am Anandam. I know it, I am Anandam. I am that forever. This particular thing, is it inside me, or that is blossom in my outlook of everything? Yes. Prakasha Rupa. So it is not just a notion. It prakasha. Prakasha means it is out there. It glows. It brings peace and happiness around you, in you. But is it confined to this embodiment? No. Sarvantaryami. Sarva antaryami. Antaryami means, andar means inside. Mayam means indwelling. Sarvam. Then only you are able to see Sarveshu api Pudeshu. In everything you want to see the divinity. How can you see divinity in everything unless you see yourself in everything? If I want to see myself in everything, I should be Sarva Antaryami. Then the Aparoksha Jnanam gives me something more. What does it give? Where this knowledge space exists, that I know everything else? It exists as a Chitakasha Rupam. Chitakasha Ruposmi. Chitakasha Rupam Aham Asmi. Again, I think we touched briefly on the earlier session. Chitakasham means, Akasham means what? Whatever gives you avakasham is akasham. Avakasham means, I have no words in English, so space to give you accommodate. Whatever accommodates you, gives you avakasham, that is space. So akasha, grammar is avakasha iti akasha. So here we are giving a metaphor, chit akasham, chitakasham, the consciousness space. Remember, we talked about the space as, in the Panchikaranam, as an object. But here we are taking as an example as an ever expanse of space. In fact, in Yoga Vasishtam talks about 3 kinds of spaces. Bhagavan talks about the 4th space, but okay. Bodhakasham. Bodhakasham is this space. What we studied in the Panchikaranam. This space out there, where every Bhutas are objects, are given avakasham. Where the objects are accommodated is akasham. So every space here is akasham. And we are able to even divide this space into gross space and subtle space. Remember, gross space is the Stula Bhutam. Subtle space is the Sukshma Bhutam. But all this space, where do they exist? There's something to contemplate for you when you are really bored. Am I in this space, or space is in me? What is the Vedanta's approach? Everything is ultified, everything is turned around. Yes, space, I am in the space. But where does the space exist? When you go in a scaling up process, you say there's a Mahakasam. See, first there's a Bhutakasham, this outside space. This Bhutakasham is in my mind called Chit Akasham, Chittakasham. Because when I sleep, where is the space gone? It's gone. I have a dream of a parade of elephants coming in. If it is, my mind is small inside my body, how can it accommodate this physical dimension of so big? So therefore, it means the physical space becomes nothing in come to my mental space. The Chittakasham, Chit Akasham, Chitta Akasham. But the mind, we know, deep sleep is gone. It goes into the consciousness. That is Chidakasham. Chitta Agasham, Chidakasham. That is bigger than this. Is it not? Because it accommodates that. Now, if I am Sarva Antaryami, this Chidakasham is spread everywhere. Vedanta stops there. But to give a footing and to give bhakti, Bhagavatam talks about Mahakasham. So if you talk about all this Chidakasham together, because Mahakasham, that is Ishvara. Okay, that's a different talk. So see how I am now able to, at least the Aproksha Jnanam can give me. All this is, you don't need a book, because it is all, nothing, nobody can prove it to you. It's only you can know it, Aproksham. I am Asangaha. If you're not Asangaha, when my mother died, I should have died. I didn't. I grieved for it. Now I rejoice at thoughts. Therefore, I'm not really tied to her. I had a relationship with her. I can remove the knot. So I am Asankaha. I am Sachidananda Swarupaka. Because I can see the happiness. I can take every situation to be a happy situation if I want to. Knowledge is nothing but revelation of it. I'm not gaining a new knowledge. As I told you, every knowledge is a remover of ignorance. Samshaya nivarti, avidya nivarti. When a nivarti, something is prakasham. So I'm not acquiring knowledge. I'm acquiring a knife to remove my ignorance. Well, what about if I go and learn about how to use a Facebook alternative technology? If I do that, am I not getting knowledge? Yes, you are getting a knowledge about the world, which is going to be a cladding on your true knowledge. It's going to be an ignorance. It's going to be a sediment. So the Laukika knowledge is acquire something to know, but it is going to make your ignorance bigger. So here talking about the Atma Jnana. So all this is done. How? Dhrida Nishchaya. It's not, you should not just think about it. Okay, this sounds interesting in the class. I have it for a while. Then I drop it. Or I have some doubt. Instead of doing a mananam and resolving it to have a doubt-free conviction, I hold it for some time and drop it. Then it is not Nishchayam. Nishchayam, but Dhrida Nishchayam. It has to be strongly rooted. Nobody can shake it. Is it possible? Of course it is possible. No matter how many times, even God comes and tell you, you are not you, you will not believe, because you know you are you. So that approach, nobody can change it. So we now enhance it to say that Aproksha Jnanam will give you Asankaha, Sachidananda Swarupaka, Parokshaha, Prakasha Rupaka, all this. So if you are able to do that, then you become a Jivan Muktaha. So this is the answer given to the story. So I have 10 minutes. I think I want to just complete it today. So just to make it a little bit clear for you, okay, all this is nice. How can I get all this? What is the method of it? What do we do? So Jivan Mukti is therefore to have that free living when we are around in this world. Therefore, when a Jivan Mukta dies, that means physically depart the body, the Videha Mukti it is called, is for sure, because he has shown, you can write a obituary to him and say, look, this person, a Jivan Mukta, has attained Videha Mukti. Perfect. He has seen Kaivalyam. He has become God. That statement is 100% true. It's not a flattery. It's not a flattery for somebody's death note. No, because in living, he lived free. So therefore, this is what Vedanta tells you. Yes, you can do Krama Bhakti, you can do Sayujyam, Samibhyam, all this you can do, because for good things you do, you will get a conditional happiness somewhere else. You will never get a complete mukti, because it will be enduring samsara will come back to you. That's why Narada was wandering around, feeding bhakti to have this one, because all this jnanam that you need to get can also come by God's grace. That's what I want to say. So the Jivan Mukti, therefore, gives you dukkha nivritti. Okay. I have 8 minutes. I'm going to take 5 more minutes extra, or 10 more minutes extra. So dukkha nivritti is the goal. This is very debated among the scholars. Does mukti means removal of grief? Yes, definitely removal of grief. What kind of grief it removes? It removes the fear. Abhayam. I am deathless. Jigyasa nivritti. We always say, I want to learn this. See, learning also, tabam. Every tabam has to go. I want to learn this. I want to learn this. I want to learn this, this sutram, this formula. Every somebody says a new quote you do not know, you get tensed up. That's also a dukkham in a way. It's gone. Because there's nothing else to know. Karpanya dosham. Arjuna's whole Gita started with the Arjuna's Karpanya dosham. Karpanya dosham means pitiable condition. Sometimes we say, well, I met this person, he didn't even ask me once, how am I doing? Very bad. We want somebody to ask us, is COVID, everything okay? Are you happy? Are you okay? Of course, we should ask because we should help others. But if you have the tabam that nobody asked me, that is karpanyam. Akarpanyam. All this is gone because you are not conditioned by anything else. But is it giving you happiness? In Shvarga, if you go, it will give me Kamadhenu is there, Karpaka Varsham is there. If you want nectar, I get nectar. If you want Urvashi's dance, I can see Urvashi's dance. I get all kind of happiness I can get. I'm going to get the kind of happiness. So some argue, no, you never get happiness. Some says, no, you get happiness. But we say, yes, you get Shuga Prapti. Because we know that Shukam is not in objects. It is not Urvashi's dance going to make you happy. Your mindset that's going to make you Urvashi's dance happy. Amritam is not going to make you immortal because immortal you are already. Amritam is going to give you the knowledge that you are immortal. That knowledge first came from the Karakoda, from the Adishesha, the snake, Vasuki, the snake, as a poison to destroy the differences. Everybody ran away because they're looking for a very sweet looking pot and a sweet tasting Amritam to come. But a poison came. Then the Parabrahman took it, okay, you're not ready for it. He took it. Advaita Aushatam. Non-difference at all. Sarvam Brahmamayam. Ambal saw, okay, what happened? This Brahma, if it takes everything was Advaitam, we began a Paramarthika Satyam. What about my Leela? I am a Leelavati. So she hold her neck. Don't swallow it, just keep it there. Release it when anybody wants it. But let me have this play. So Ambal stopped everything. Everything was, Srishti was apparently there. Then Ambal as Sri Vishnu was there. Give them everybody the Amrita Kalasam. Shukam you have, enjoy. But the Shukam is nothing but your Atma Shukam. So we know that it is there. Yes, I know the Prayojanam. I know the status. How am I going to get that? For that, in Vedanta, we have 3 things. Okay, I said Paroksha Jnanam, then why are we laboring all this teaching? Because to turn our attention to, the Shakmi I told you about the 10 boys looking for the connection to the 10th person, the teacher said, turn the hand back to him, you are the 10th one. The Tattva Jnanam is the first ingredient. So you need to have Tattva Jnanam. Therefore, if somebody dies without having Tattva Jnanam, he will not get Videha Mukti. We can write Videha Mukti, he got it, but he will be somewhere looking for another body. So Tattva Jnanam is needed. What we are now doing is the Tattva Jnana Pariksha or the learning, Siksha. Everything we learn about this spirituality is Tattva Jnanam. Okay, first one, I need to get it. Second one is, for the Tattva Jnanam, you should have the Vasana Kshayam. Kshayam means end. Akshayam, Akshaya, Akshada means never ending. Akshaya Brahma Yoga, we're going to read in Bhagavad Gita. Here, Vasana Kshayam. So, Vasana is destroyed. What is Vasana? Vasana, as I told you, the addiction to coffee passed away. The coffee addiction is not going to go away because if it is strong, you look for, probably you'll born as a Kenko coffee seed, maybe. I don't know. So Vasana is the intense desire that you have, which is not going away in the gross nature of it, because you want it. You are Sat. If you want it, you must get it, and you must enjoy it. But it is a grandhi. It is a knot. So the Vasana Kshayam is, Vasana has to be removed. So Vasana Dvivida Prokta Shuddhacha Malina Tata. Malina Janmano Hetu Shuddha Janma Vasani. So Vasana is of two types. Because you may ask the question, if a desire is bad, I wanted Mumukshunam is a desire for moksha. Is it not a desire? How can I then have desireless? So Vasana is the first split into two. Shuddha Vasana and Malina Vasana. Malina means cheap. Shuddha Vasana is the desire to attain good things. Right? Ultimate good thing is moksha or mokshutva. That Vasana is important. We will also drop it at some stage. Wait for it. But right now that Vasana is important. Why? Because Malina Janmano Hetu. Hetu means the cause, the means. Janmano Hetu. For Janma, the Malina Vasana. You get on birth after birth after birth because your Vasana is Malinam, cheap. You're looking for things. Shuddha Vasana, Janma Vinasini. We have Shuddha Vasana. If you have a right Shuddha Vasana, maybe it's a Paraloka Prapti, Brahmaloka Prapti, Vaikuntha Prapti, all the Shuddha Vasana. When you go to Shuddha Vasana, what happens when you are closer to the God, near God, as God, then your Vasana get purified. You born as a Prakallada again. And then God comes in, destroy bad people and give Prakallada another escalated position. So slowly, your Vasana Kshayam happens. Then you don't even need moksha because you are already liberated. Vasana Kshayam is complete. But how does the Vasana Kshayam goes? It comes from the mind. Therefore, the next quality you need is Mano Nasam. Again, Nasam is not destroying the mind. You can never destroy the mind. It is about disciplining the mind to make it Shuddha Vasana. This is what the result of the Adhikaratum, doing all this, you get Adhikaratum that we saw before, Shamadama, Gunas. That's why once we know that we can attain Jivan Mukti, then our focus should be to find out what I need to do to make the mind better, Vasanas better. Yoga Shastra, Bhakti Shastra, Upasana, Karma Yoga. How do I do this? So therefore, the classes that we should have is to help us take this thing. So what is Mano Nasham? It says in Mukti Upanishad, also in Yoga Vasishtha, something like this. Tibije Chitta Vrikshaya Vritti Pratati Dharanaha. So Chitta Vrikshaya. So Chittam, here the mind is, here Chittam is mind. Vriksham, it's a tree. In the mind is a tree, Vritti is growth. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Thoughts keep on coming. That tree, so metaphor is a tree. The mind is a tree. The tree is growing. How? Because there are two seeds. Two seeds are making the tree grow. Ekam, one is prana parispando. The prana, the breathing that you do, is what makes the thought come through. That's the reason why. How can you hold your nose and you do pranayama? What is the benefit of it? Because when you slow down your breathing, the thoughts will slow down. You can go and experiment today. After the class, you sit down for 5 minutes. Just your job is to watch your breathing. Just keep on watching as a breathing. When you watch your breathing, what happened? You suddenly realize you're not thinking any much. You calm down. To watch the breathing better, you make the breathing longer and deeper. So that your watching observation time endures. That's the reason why you have a long breathing. When you have a long breathing and deep breathing, what happened? You have a long time to observe, deeply observe, the mind gets calmed down. Of course, the byproduct is all your physical aspects changes, blood pressure comes down, all kinds of stuff. These are all, you evident proving, you can test it out yourself. But our purpose is very clear, because Vedantam is all about proving it. If you don't prove it, you don't go to the next step. Here, the theory here is prana is controlling your mind. Mind is thought. Therefore, if prana is controlling mind, prana is controlling the thought. Before I can do the exercise, I want to prove it. Therefore, you prove it by observing it. Tudiyam, Trida Bhavana or Drida Bhashana. So, okay, I can control the thought by using the breathing. It slows down. So I think you are thinking about 6,000 to 60,000 thoughts in a day, depending on how pressurized you are. That's the kind of a benchmark from the statistics. I can control the thought pattern, pace, but why thought comes at all? That is because of your samskaram, drida vasana. Right now, somebody may be thinking about what I'm going to do after the class. That vasana comes in because there is a commitment, a relationship, samskara. Therefore, if I need to control the mind, manonasham is controlling the mind to do what you want it to do. I need to look at the pace of the thought and the nature of the thought. Therefore, I need 2 exercises. I need to have the pranayama related exercises to do. Satvishaya samskaram. Control thought. So this is anyway, we're not going to go in there. I'm just telling you. So we need to have this So Jivan Mukta is one who got the Tattva Jnanam, Vasanakshayam, Manonasham. If you're able to do that, then we are Jivan Mukta. Not only if, we must, because Narajanmam Durlapam. We will not get this birth again, no guarantee for it. Therefore, we must get these 3 as much as possible or as little as possible before we die. And this call will not happen to everybody else. The call comes to us because some Purva Punya, we are able to discuss this kind of stuff. Then the Videha Mukti comes in. What is going then is Deha Nasham. So when the Deham goes away, you cannot commit suicide. Suicide is a sin. You have no right to do it. It has to go by itself because it is given to you to endure it. You can't prematurely do that. So when it goes away, what happens is karma nivritti happens. So there is an insight here. What is the insight? The Dehanasham should happen in addition to that we have acquired Tattva Jnanam, Vasanakshayam, Manonasam. Even if you don't achieve them fully, at least when the Dehanasham happens, our Deha gain, Deha Lapam, what happened next time, is going to be so beautiful. You're going to be born beautiful person with all this thing that you want because we acquired all those 3 elements before. It can keep on continue until what time? Until karma nivritti. Because Videha Mukti, if it is perfect, you should not come back again with another Deham. Deham is caused by the karmas. Now, the question that you may have, therefore, does it mean the Jivan Muktar still have karma? Because karma nivritti happens after the body is gone. This is the question this disciple is going to ask again. So we are going to have two more sessions on this. So the question should also come to our mind. So in this picture, what I'm trying to summarize, Mukti is liberation. Liberation is, you can say emancipation, redemption, deliverance. So many words you can use it. But you should know from where? From the bonding that we create ourselves, the knots that we put ourselves. Therefore, we try to loosen it up, try to become free of desires. So there are many Jivan Muktas in the world living amongst us. How do we know them? Bhagavan is going to answer the question. Arjuna is very interested. How is this Siddha Pragyan looks? How does it look like? He wants to know that I am one. He wants to know about that one. So we can find out that. But what we learn is that they still have to live in this world, be as they are, suffer as they are supposed to be suffering because of the karma. That's the reason why a great guru there, he got cancer. Bhagavan got cancer in his body. He did not cure it. Can he not cure it? Of course, he could have done it. Many siddhis will come to you. He did not use it because Deha Nasham have to happen. So very important to understand, because when you try to do this Mano Nasham, Vasana Kshem, all these yoga siddhis, what the Shastra says, you acquire powers to manipulate this, because what the Parashakti gives you is that lot of power. I said, my child, don't go in the path. You will be just one with this Brahman. I want to play with you. I'll give you this power. Do this kind of siddhi. So you get Ashtama siddhis. You get that, this and all that. And you have a great fall again. You come back and fall in mother's lap. Mother says, yeah, good. Come on. Now you play this game of Srishti. So you get into this loop. But what you have to therefore remember is, in the next class, we talk about what is Videha Mukti. Then we talk about maybe 2 classes. What is this karma? So I'll close it here. Sorry, it took 10 minutes more, I think. So Balaji, you may say this Shanti Pat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Asato Ma Gamaya.
Om Asato Ma Satgamaya.
Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya.
Tamaso Ma
Jyotirgamaya.
Jyotirgamaya.
Yorma Amritangamaya.
Mritanggamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti
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 Shanti.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raja.
Welcome back to Naresh.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
A very blissful session.
Okay.
Thank you, Guru.